Welcome to Georgina Life. On today's show, we talk about mental health and meet some very special puppets.
And the Chamber of Commerce shares their fabulous Mother's Day gift guide. All of this and more on today's Georgina Life.
Well, welcome to Georgina Life. It is now May, Grant. It is now May, and it has been a great weekend for yard work, Grant Peckford.
Oh, yes, of course. I just got that lawnmower out first thing Saturday morning.
Well, Saturday, because today is May the 2nd. So we obviously we're live today. The show goes all week, but today is May the 2nd. So really it's kind of the first weekday of May. But on Saturday it was really beautiful. Yes. Sunday not so much, but Saturday was really beautiful. So everybody was out doing yard work. Everybody was really happy. But we did have, for all of you who are watching, who are in Keswick, we apparently, because my mom was affected, had a huge power outage.
Oh.
Yeah, and it happened, I think, like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it lasted until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a very big power outage. So shout out to all of those people in that particular area who helped each other, because my mom is going to be 89 in July, so it was a really traumatic thing.
Well, when you don't know what's happening.
Yes.
You know, I mean, first of all, I want to say why was, of course, the earpiece is coming out. Why was your mother up at 1 a.m.? But
well, you know, that's
a whole other story. But yeah, I mean, it is a little disconcerting. You're all alone. Power goes off. And what is it? Is it something in your unit or?
That's right.
Is it? Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Thank you so much.
So shout out to all of those people. And it is Mental Health Week this week. So we're going to talk a little bit about mental health today. And we just want to say that, you know, when times are tough, we do need to be there for one another.
Yes.
And ROGERStv is a proud community partner with the Canadian Mental Health Association in supporting Mental Health Week. So the hashtag that you can use in all of your posts is hashtag #GetReal about how you can help. And you can find information at mentalhealthweek.ca and CMHA/RogersTV. So hashtag #GetReal.
Yeah.
That's a really important thing. We've talked about mental health throughout the years, Grant.
Yes. And as I was saying before we went on air, all of the hosts have been really, really candid about our own personal struggles. And we were just speaking about how timely it was because for a myriad of reasons, we're kind of doing this.
Yes.
You know, and while it's great to say it's okay not to be okay, you know, we need to keep the conversation going.
Absolutely.
Which is so, so important.
It's true.
So important.
It's true.
And I've got some information here, and this is going to come up on the screen, around Courtney Gideon, the host of Mental Health Matters in Georgina, I'm going to read right off here, is hosting Instagram live events this week from her Instagram at courtney.gideon. She'll be interviewing guests on Monday, May the 2nd, Wednesday, May the 4th, and Friday, May the 6th at 8 p.m. Great, great schedule. So Monday we've got Joanne Anderson, nurse practitioner from MOBYSS, as well as child, youth, and family therapist, Tanya De Silva. Wednesday, we'll see Rachel Summers, bounce back coach, love that, and creator of the Anna app for mental health, Roxy Earl. Roxy is 100,000 followers. And just to reiterate, this is this week. And wrapping up Friday, Dr. Jen Ruse, clinical psychologist for Bounce Back, as well as best-selling author David Giffen, who shares the story of trauma and addiction.
Awesome.
So, wow, full lineup, lots of great information.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Lots of great information.
I love that. Honestly, you know, the more we talk about our mental health and our struggles, and the more we share with others, we don't feel so alone. So good on Courtney for doing this.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we need to sit in it for as long as we need to sit in it, but, you know, we do need to have a healthy perspective and move forward.
We do.
Yes.
Speaking of moving forward, guess what, Georgina? Calling all candidates. The 2022 municipal election begins May the 2nd, and the nomination period begins May the 2nd. So that's today. So it continues until August 19th at 2 p.m. So if you are interested in being a candidate, they're accepting nominations for the positions of mayor, 1 regional councillor, 5 ward councillors, trustees for the York Catholic District School Board and York District School Board as well. So, and 2 trustees for 2 French language school boards. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, and so the next municipal election is on October 24th. The new term of council begins November 15th and ends after the election in 2026, guys.
Wow.
So if you are considering being a candidate, you have to make an appointment with the clerk's office. To schedule an appointment, you have to call the clerk's division at 905-476-4301, or you have to email clerks@georgina.ca. So for more information, anyone thinking about it, all the information is available. It's at the bottom of the screen. So go for it. Now's your chance.
Excellent. And hot off the press, this was handed to us just before we went on air, our own Mayor Quirk to seek a 3rd term. I just quickly wanted, I've been encouraged by many residents to seek a 3rd term, and I will be filing my nomination papers for the position of mayor later this month. I look forward to working with residents and businesses as together we continue to move Georgina forward. Great news.
There you go.
Great news.
There you go. So now's your chance, Georgina.
Get going.
I know. And speaking of spring.
Yes, yes. The Eudora United Church, I believe we've got an image here about there we go, having a spring bazaar Saturday, May the 7th, 9 a.m. to 2, 14800 Victoria Street, Durham Road 1. Lots of Mother's Day gifts and, of course, great vendors. So we really do encourage you to check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's really important because, you know, not only is it Mental Health Week, but Mother's Day is on the horizon, people. So, you know, you got to get out there and you got to do something special for Mom.
I do. I do my Facebook posting.
There you go.
Where I acknowledge the impact that she had on my life.
I know. And some people may not have their moms with them, but they may have people in their lives that they consider to be their mom figures. So I think that's important too. That's really important.
The extended family, the chosen family. And
absolutely.
So get out there and shop. Shop local. Oops.
Shop local. Yeah, exactly.
Not going to go there yet.
You know, speaking of which, we do have a really good show coming up today because we've got some fabulous guests. Now, bear in mind, it is Mental Health Week. We do have the Canadian Mental Health Association, York and South Simcoe, here with us today. We have the Georgina Chamber of Commerce, and Jennifer Anderson is going to be here today talking about, Grant, the Mother's Day
gift guide, the fabulous.
Exactly.
Thank you, Mother's Day gift guide.
Exactly. We're going to meet a couple of really special puppets. Maggie and Andrew are going to be here today from a wonderful place on Rogers TV, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Yes. And of course, Alyson Schafer is going to be here, and we love her from Parenting Show on Rogers TV as well. So it's going to be a great show.
Absolutely fabulous.
What do you think?
Can't wait. Cannot wait.
I know. Me too.
Just so much information to share with our viewers.
I know. And it's really, it's going to be great because, as I said, having a conversation about mental health is always such an important thing.
Yes.
So, Georgina, pour yourself a cup of goodness, stick with us, and don't go away because after the break, we have Canadian Mental Health Association. So, stay tuned. See you after the break. Welcome back, Georgina. It is Mental Health Week, and we are very excited to have our next guest here with us. We are going to talk a little bit about mental health, and Shirley Woods, welcome to Georgina Life. You are a mental health educator with the Canadian Mental Health Association, York Region and South Simcoe.
You got it. Long name.
You bet. Welcome to Georgina Life.
Thank you for having us, and welcome to Mental Health Week.
You know what? It's a pleasure to have you here. It's really amazing because I think it's really important that we have a conversation about mental health and what it means, and maybe, talk about kind of how we navigate through it.
Well, we'd be here a lot longer than a few minutes to navigate through the whole thing. But the theme this week for Mental Health Week is empathy, and get real about helping people. Right. And so empathy, of course, is different than sympathy. Empathy being trying to put ourselves in someone else's place. Not that we've been there before, but it's about being able to imagine what someone else is feeling, rather than sympathy, which is more, gee, I'm really sorry for you and whatever. This is more, that must be really hard for you.
Yeah.
And sort of acknowledging people's feelings and understanding that we don't have to fix everybody, but somebody often just needs to be heard. And so to give that empathetic ear and that compassionate ear, mental illness is a diagnosable illness, just like any other illness. And we need to be talking about it, and we need to be sharing how we're feeling and making that normal. When someone says, how are you today? What's happening? Linda, are you doing okay? And we all say, yeah, we're fine. And to stop and say, just a minute, you know what? I really need a minute to talk to you. Do you have a minute?
Right.
And that's okay. It has to become okay.
Yeah, I think that's really true. I mean, how many people do you know who put on a face every day and say, oh, yeah, I'm great, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, some people don't want to be a burden, and I think that's part of it, correct?
Well, I think stigma certainly plays a big role. I think also that there's not only stigma out in the world, but we have self-stigma. And so, am I weak if I talk about this? Am I going to be a burden if I talk about this? But if I have cancer, am I going to be a burden if I talk about it? Will people want to help me? Absolutely. And so we have to start understanding that mental illness is very much like physical illness, and start treating it and talking about it and understanding that it's okay to not be okay.
Right. And it's okay to ask for help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And at CMHA York and South Simcoe, or Canadian Mental Health Association York and South Simcoe, we have over 30 programs for supporting young people, supporting families, supporting adults. And we served over 42,000 people in the last year.
Wow.
So everyone has an option at CMHA. There are many programs. You call Central Intake, and they will very nicely direct you through the process. So it doesn't have to be complicated. One number, one address, which I believe is going up at on the screen at some point.
Right.
And so definitely, we have something for everyone. We don't expect people to leave CMHA in anything less than recovery of some sort, whatever that might be. Recovery for you might be different than recovery for the next person, but whatever recovery is for you and me and anybody else is what we aim towards, for sure.
That's fantastic. And I like the fact that there are different programs to choose from, because we're all different, right? We have different needs. We have different ways to sort of wrap our heads around what's happening. And I think we talked about the fact that I sometimes have a hard time defining how I feel, but other people out there can maybe help in that way.
Absolutely. And CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy, is something that sort of focuses on your thinking, the way we think, because we all have these negative voices in our heads, don't we?
We do.
And so it helps us to change the way we think, which is one of the key pluses for our Bounce Back program. And I know you're going to be talking to Bounce Back later this week, but it's a fabulous program that certainly many of my own family members have taken, for sure. And to be able to sit at home and have your own personal coach help you through the process is, it's fabulous. So you don't even have to leave your home.
That's a good thing, too, because a lot of people are afraid. You know, they're afraid of what's out there, and they're afraid of who's going to be at the end of the line and all of that stuff. So, listen, before we talk about anything else, you brought this really cool T-shirt in, and I kind of want to talk about mental health in motion.
So Mental Health in Motion is our main fundraiser, and that's for CMHA York and South Simcoe, and it's on June 12th.
Right.
Oh my goodness, I better get the date right. And so it supports our youth programming, but mainly MOBIes, which is Mobile, York and South Simcoe. And so in doing that, we all get out there and we pedal our butts off. And I've only ever done the 5K, but I'm proud that I can go out with my grandchildren and do the 5K. And I often do it, I wear a sign that I wear in memory of some people who have died from suicide. But I often pick one or two people each year that I'm going to do this ride for. And so there's the option of 5K, there's the option of 10K, and I think there's even a 60K. I can't even imagine doing that.
Gosh.
But anyway, it's not my gig. But it is fun. Certainly, if you don't want to ride, you can sponsor someone.
I love that.
And so check. I think the Mental Health in Motion website is coming up on the screen as well.
Perfect.
And you can go in there and you can see what's going on and be part of the ride or be part of supporting somebody to ride.
Shirley, where can people get a hold of you if they need or the Canadian Mental Health Association?
Well, so you can call our 1-800 number, which is, again, on the screen.
Perfect.
Yeah. And again, you can go through Central Intake if you want to get in touch with any programs, specific programs, and they will talk to you very openly.
Thank you so much. Listen, Georgina, don't go away. Lots more coming up on today's Georgina Life. Welcome back, Georgina. You know, little people are really important, and they're so important. Their mental health, their well-being, their self-esteem, that's what's really important. And our next two guests are so sweet and wonderful and help in so many ways. We welcome Maggie and Andrew. Hello, guys. You're from a wonderful place on ROGERStv. How are you both?
Hi. We're doing pretty good.
Good.
Thanks for having us on, by the way.
Oh, it's so great to see you.
Yes.
So great to see you. So tell us a little bit about Mental Health Week. I mean, it's important for kids too, right, guys?
Very.
Yeah.
For sure. So on our show, we talk a lot about positive mental health and how you can build it and maintain it. That means keep it.
That's really interesting. So how do we build it?
So there's lots of different things that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like you can let your emotions out in a healthy way.
Yeah, so if you're really upset or sad or afraid, it's important to let those feelings out.
Wow. We were just talking about that at the top of the show, about how important that to let that go. Woo.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Yes, in a healthy way. So some ways could be, what do you think?
You could talk about how you're feeling to people who you trust.
You can scream into a pillow.
Yeah.
That's a good
Or you
one.
could
Been there.
with soccer balls.
I don't remember.
Kick
You
them.
can kick, yeah, kick.
Kick a ball. If you're angry, just kick a ball.
Oh.
That's a great idea.
That's a fabulous idea.
I never really thought about that. But
Oh.
what about telling people how you feel? I mean, if you're sad or you're happy, does that help too?
Yes. So talking about things with someone that you trust is important too.
So
Another thing is, oh, go ahead.
no, you go ahead, and then I'm going to jump in real quick.
Well, one thing that we taught a friend of ours is how to meditate. So if you're feeling upset, you can calm down with meditation, which is just kind of like breathing. Want to show?
Yeah.
You breathe in and out. Just like that. We call it smelling the roses and blowing out the candle.
Yeah.
I know about you, but I always struggle to breathe when I get myself all worked up. It's like I have to remind myself to breathe.
Right.
I know in rehearsals we were speaking about self-esteem. Can you share some information around that?
For sure. So self-esteem is kind of like a shield inside of you. And so if you have a strong shield, when some things happen, it can help you feel good about yourself. And there's ways to build your shield.
Oh, that's fantastic. So tell us a little bit about your show on Rogers TV.
You want to go ahead?
Yeah, we help people.
We help friends.
Yeah.
So we have a magical tree fort that we build together. And when we go in it, we travel to different places and meet new friends. And we help them with their emotions.
We went to the moon once.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And you have a YouTube channel too, don't you?
We do.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
we're-
we sing too, right?
And we dance sometimes.
I love it. So we've got information. Oh gosh, that's great. We've got information on the screen. Thank you so very much, Maggie and Andrew, for everything that you do. And listen, Georgina, don't go anywhere because we have lots more coming up on today's Georgina Life. Bye, guys.
Mwah. Welcome back, Georgina. Well, as we said at the top of the show, spring has sprung. And what does that mean? Mother's Day is just around the corner. I'm very, very excited, and I say this all the time, that I'm joined today by one of my favorite guests of all time, Jen Anderson, the Executive Director of the Georgina Chamber of Commerce. So Mother's Day, gift guide, shop local.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever not a great time to spread the shop local sentiments throughout Georgina. But this is an opportunity for us, as people are heading out, as they're buying more gifts, to be able to have another great gift-giving guide. So our gift-giving guide started a couple of years ago. It started with the holidays, and so successful with an online clickable guide that we've extended it into our regular shopping local initiatives. And so we started in obviously the holidays again with a holiday gift guide.
Perfect.
And then we went into Valentine's Day, the first time we've done something for Valentine's Day. And now, of course, it's Mother's Day. And we'll continue to do them any opportunity we have to really shout that businesses in town.
So we've got a couple of images that I know that you've got some narrative to go with them. We're going to bring them up. So there's the guide.
Yeah, so it's all online, so people can head to our website. It is a clickable guide. So as you flip through the pages, you will see pictures of things, goods, services, gift certificates that are available. These pages all have photos of options for gifts this year, and each of them is clickable. So anytime you click on a picture, it takes you right to the business that offers that goods or service. So it's a really easy way to connect to those businesses.
This is key. I love this. So please share this with our viewers.
So we wanted the opportunity to really spread information about all businesses in Georgina. And not all businesses have gift items for these occasions. So this is an opportunity for us us to still share information about local businesses. These are messages that they are spreading for Mother's Day, but again, all clickable messages, so that way when you take a look at some of these businesses, you don't know what they are, we encourage you to click on them and to head to the business website. It really is a way for you to support local businesses and see what's available in your own backyard.
Well, and it's that one-stop shop.
Yes.
I mean, you know, whether it's supporting the shop local, whether it's a specific holiday, or in this case, getting to know your community that you may not.
Yes.
And I love that because we know we're all about community here in Georgina.
Well, and I heard you and Linda speaking at the top of the show, and the idea that, you know, it is Mother's Day. It is an idea to buy gifts for moms, but it's also an opportunity to take a look at local gifts. So maybe you're not buying for a mom, maybe you're buying for an aunt, a grandma, a friend, someone in your life. Maybe there's a birthday that's happening this month. It's an opportunity for you to see what businesses exist in this community, because let's face it, they've had a hard time.
It's been heck.
And so any opportunity we have to shout from the rooftops that businesses need help, they need to help, they're now reopening, but recovery is going to take a while. So let's spread the word about the importance and why it's so important to shop local.
And I love the fact you brought up recovery. Because, you know, yes, the doors have opened, however that looks. Not every business looks the same, but it is recovery. We're not, the dollars aren't rolling in just because the open sign.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of businesses who did well during the pandemic. There were certain sectors that did. There were certain sectors that, you know, we talked to a restaurant last week and they were closed 400 days in the last 2 years. How do you come back from that? Well, you come back because you have a supportive community, you have people recognizing the reason behind shopping local, that it's not just a buzzword, it's not just cliche, that it actually has an economic drive for our community and really helps us to flourish. And, you know, let's look at the positives. A business does well. We shop at a business, they do well. Now they have to hire more. Now they're hiring more people. Our environmental footprint is reduced because we're not heading south. We're staying local. There's so many different benefits, and we need people to recognize that that's important.
And I mean, we overuse the word pivot.
Yes.
Throughout this whole pandemic.
We love that word.
It was just, we had to pivot. But to your point, those smaller local businesses, what does pivot mean to them? What happens if they don't have the dollars and cents to go online and do all of that? So it's wonderful that, you know, we give our community a wake-up call that everybody needs our support.
Yeah, and we have, you know, 35 businesses who are a part of the Mother's Day gift giving guide, but we have, you know, hundreds of businesses who are in our directory. We have hundreds and thousands of business in this community who just need support. And so we always like to encourage people to connect with the Chamber because we are that 411. We are that information for locals, and if you don't know if a business exists, if you don't know if somebody has what you're looking for in this community, then call the Chamber, get in contact with us, because we can certainly direct you to some amazing local businesses.
You know, it's so important because the resources are there, and oftentimes we just don't know where to look.
Right.
So thank heavens for the Chamber that there is that one organization that we can reach out to get all of the information that we need.
Well, and we are creatures of habit, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
We tend to stay with what we know. And so, you know, the idea of even with the guide to be able to go through and just click on new businesses.
So where are we going to get all this information?
GeorginaChamber.com is our website that has all the information about local businesses. ShopLocalGeorgina.ca will direct you right to those Shop Local initiatives, the events, and the guide.
Pleasure as always. Thank you so much. Georgina, don't go anywhere. So much more on today's Georgina Life.
Welcome back, Georgina. Grant, you and I are really excited, though, about this next guest because, you know what? She's everything.
Yes.
She is a best-selling author. She is a family counselor. She is host of the parenting show on Rogers TV. She's Alyson Schafer. Alyson, welcome to Georgina Life.
So good to be with you. Thank you so much for having me. What a joy. What a joy.
I tell you, we've got a lot of time in this segment, and I was saying off air, I know we haven't got enough time once you get going and sharing all the amazing information. So, just let us get a word in.
I have a reputation for talking. I'm not going to lie about that. We're supposed to express our emotions, aren't we? I watch the puppets. I know. This is our work. We're supposed to express. I'm here to express for, the rest of the show.
Good. And there's lots of expressing because it's Canadian Mental Health Week, and there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, big topic.
Where do we begin?
Exactly.
Well, the first thing is I just want to honor the fact that we have a month dedicated with a theme to mental health. I know there's like pickle day and donut day and I don't know what. There's but they're only a day. It's only 24 hours. We get a whole month. Yeah. And what's important about it is, think about it. Even you folks as media people pick up themes and what's topical, and because you want to bring that out to the community. So just the fact that it becomes something that the media is picking up, so that we increase awareness, we increase education, and that we give the community some actionable items to do better in this area is already super important. Mm-hmm. And I think reducing the stigma of mental health has been, and talking about mental health was really, really highlighted with the pandemic, because as you know, mental health issues just exploded during the pandemic. And not that I would ever wish for that to happen again, but isn't that maybe one of those silver linings where we said, you can't take this for granted. We need to be in dialogue about this all the time. And here we have a whole month to put the focus on that. And hopefully we just keep the conversation going. Just don't let it slip from people's radars as we come out, because things are getting better. We can't be passive about this. This is an ongoing commitment, just the same way good nutrition or, good body health is.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, is that ever true?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's so true. Do you think, Alyson, that we as a society are doing better getting rid of that stigma?
I do. Yes, I think things are for sure improving because we're talking about it more, right? We're in dialogue. I think this is where, when we talk about social media, the pros and cons of social media, the pros of social media is if you're that little transgendered kid in rural Alberta, you can actually, jump online and find your people, find your community. You're not going to be as isolated, which is a big cornerstone of mental health, which is to find your people, live in community. Look at what you folks do for Georgina. You're there building community so people feel belonging and connection and get resources and feel embedded and supported in their community. You're doing the highest mental health work just by having this show. So we need to feel connected, and the internet and the fact that you and I can talk through Zoom and do this. So there's many, many benefits to technology. The downside of it is, if you're the, pubescent girl going through puberty and you're suddenly getting in your social media feed that you're supposed to have the thigh gap and you're supposed to look like a Victoria's Secrets angel, and, there's that too, right? And as parents, we need to be aware of our important role of being a mitigating factor in helping our kids navigate what they're going to experience in life. The reality of life is it's going to throw you some boulders. And what we really want to do with good mental health is to have that resiliency, that protective factor that starts in childhood, so that our kids can navigate that in a way that maximizes on the opportunities and mitigates the things that are going to throw us down. But we're all going to have low mood. We're all going to have high mood. Mm-hmm. We just don't want to fall into the pitfalls of some of these mental health disorders that can be really crippling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I'm not a parent, but I've worked with children and youth for many, many years. So I can't speak to what the role of the parent is, but I can't imagine. You've got two girls that you have a very open dialogue with.
Yes, I do.
Sometimes one more than the other. But, to have someone like yourself who really, you know, sort of walks the talk and knows their speak is huge, especially during the pandemic, because for those kiddies who I've worked with who are more introverted, so they're introverts, and then on top of that, they've got this isolation piece. I love that.
Yeah, well, that was, so, you know, if I'm going to like look at what do we want to do as like a report card or a checklist of, you know, how do I make sure I'm doing the right things to make sure my kids are mentally healthy? Whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, however you go through life, that's all very fine. But to your point, you need to find your people. You find your other introverted people. You don't need 100 people. You don't have to hang out with a whole soccer team. But we sort of have these concentric rings that's sort of like a bullseye. And what you need to know is that in that little inner bullseye ring, do you have your 2 or 3 people? Okay, not your 100 followers on your TikTok account, but like in your little inner ring, do you have your people? Do you have the person who's going to show up in the middle of the night when you go to emergency and you got to get a cast on, you know? Like, do you have those people? And some teens, you know, are what we would say serially monogamous. They might have like one best friend, and then maybe things go wrong in their social groups, and then you have another best friend. There's those kids are not failing. They're working their way of doing life, but they need to find their next bestie, and that's okay, so long as they've got someone protective in that inner ring, that they can make friends, that they can feel belonging, that they can feel embedded. And a lot of feeling like you're valuable and important and worthy in your social group came from how it was reflected to you from your parents. So do we send messages to our kids that you're lovable and you're valuable in whatever way you are? Not that you have to be a doctor or a lawyer or an A student and be on 3 teams, and that you have to be extroverted, because, you know, we can't, you got to raise the kid you have, not the kid you want.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to...
That's so true. And you know what's interesting is when I was speaking with Shirley Woods from the Canadian Mental Health Association, she talked about that whole role of empathy.
Yes.
And I thought that was so brilliant. I mean, what do you think about that, Alyson?
Yeah, agreed. I mean, you know, empathy, compassion, we have a lot of terms that kind of get intermingled there. But if we could agree that there's just generally something that speaks to the fact that we're wired to be social creatures, that we're meant to live in herds, and that our primary concern is not only security for ourselves, but security for others, which means when you care about other people, you benefit. It's actually selfish. When you can get inside the mind and the eyes of another and then be in service of them, you yourself get healthier. And as the tribe gets healthier, you know, what is it? You know, we lift many boats get risen on the high tide. I don't know. That's terrible. I should get that polished before I do my next segment. But the point is we buoy and we lift each other up. We don't need to be competitive and trying to stomp over top of one another. That everybody needs to be invested in everybody else. And when you give back, you yourself increase your sense of affiliation and connection, well-being, and that's just hardwire into our brains. Mm-hmm. And we often shortchange our children in this because we kind of just tell them, just be students, just be smart. That's it. That's your job. That's all you do. Just be smart. Get your report card. And we forget to ask them to do some of these other community-minded things that a lot of adults do. Like, you know, you sit on committee. You give your free time to hosting shows. You know, look at all the work that people do in their community. Those things serve our souls. That's our kind of non-religious spiritual core that we have to address. And kids have that need, that existential need as much as adults.
Where do people go for more information on all of this?
Yeah, so I'll be talking about it all month. So if you come to my website at AlysonSchafer.com, it's got all the links to all my social handles and my posts and my feeds and my blogs and my videos and all that jazz, my podcast.
Alyson,
so find me there. You'll find it everywhere.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much for being with us. And listen, Georgina, don't go away. Lots more coming up on today's Georgina Life. Well, welcome back, Georgina. I am just reeling from all of this information today and all of the incredible guests that we had on the show. Grant, I mean, This was a full show.
I mean, you know, when I saw the run sheets and I saw the sheets that you sent last night, I went, oh my gosh, how are we ever going to fit this in?
Right.
But I was being a little selfish, as Alyson sort of mentioned. It was like, oh my gosh, there's so much I want to ask. There's so much we both have to share. And it's how are we going to remember that it's about the guests on the show, right. as Jer reminds us.
Right.
So yeah, I think this has just been amazing. Great information has been shared. Good, rich conversation.
Yeah.
Just wow. Talk about a full show.
Alyson, I mean, that segment, wow. I mean, boy, oh boy, there's so much to discuss. And she is so knowledgeable and so much information in that head. I just want to go, okay, I need an hour of your time just to
today
focus right now. But it's interesting when she was talking about social media, you know, because there's the pros and the cons, and about how, you know, you've got a pubescent girl at home who might have like me when I was that age, acne and just, oh my gosh, and feeling like you really don't matter. I mean, and it's so true when you go to social media, and it's true. You know, you've got to have the thigh gap, and you've got to have the perfect skin, and you've got to, you know, and there's all of this stuff. You know, you're scrolling through Facebook, and there's all of these ads that say you got to be better.
Well, and it's, you know, and while I think, you know, we need to cut some slack for the parents. I love the fact that Alyson shared that, you know what, it's not just about the academics. You know, it's about just supporting your child in whatever way they need you to support them and that you can support them. Because, social media with that very negative impact is not going to go away anytime soon. So how do we prepare the leaders of tomorrow, which is scary, Georgina, when I say that, to really love themselves and understand that they are more than enough.
Absolutely.
Like, how do you?
Absolutely.
God, that was deep.
That was very deep.
I don't know where that came from, Georgina, but...
Wow, I'm impressed. But the puppets, I have to say, oh my gosh, Maggie and Andrew, that was great because it is true. I mean, our little people need help too, because what signals, you know, what are we giving them? And how can we make them understand that, you know, it's okay not to be okay, but it's also okay to share the fact that you're not okay. And I loved when, oh my gosh, they were great. I even wrote it down. Breathe in the roses and breathe and blow out the candle. I love that meditation, going inside yourself. And that was amazing.
That really kind of threw me because I think of, rightly or wrongly, I think of that as an adult thing.
Right.
And it doesn't need to be, and I'm sure it hasn't always been. It's just my own mind, because I can't meditate.
Right.
I can't.
A lot of people
try as I might. If reading a book is meditating, I'm all in. If it's stopping and learning how to breathe or begin to breathe, I'm Georgina, I'm completely lost.
It's hard.
I can't, and I wish I could. And we've had guests on the show who speak to the benefits and how it doesn't need to look like anything.
Yes,
which is so, but they were adorable.
They were really great. They were great. And I loved the conversation that we had with Shirley Woods from the Canadian Mental Health Association, because I also liked that she talked about the whole meaning of empathy and being empathic, and also with sharing and how people deal with their mental health issues differently, and that there are resources in our region that you can go to for help. You know, you don't have to go through this alone. You can reach out and you can get the help that you need. And it's not, I mean, and it's the stigma, totally the stigma.
Oh my gosh.
Totally.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And, you know, I have said in a lot of the work that I've been very blessed to do, not everyone knows where those resources are.
Yes.
So we've got to keep having that conversation so that everybody has an opportunity to hear what they need to hear
Yes.
in order to help themselves and those around them. Yeah. I mean, what I loved about Alyson and Shirley, no nonsense. This is the way it is. Let's cut to the chase.
I know.
We don't need to be clinicians
No.
to be empathetic.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is
Where do we go?
but it's an important week
Yes.
because so many of us, especially through the pandemic, struggled with our mental health. And a
Yes.
lot of people that I know really thought they were okay when they realized that they weren't. If you know what I'm...
Oh,
Yeah.
please. 6
Right?
chapters in my yet-to-be-written book.
There you go.
It's so true, because when I made the reference to the introvert and extrovert,
Yeah.
take this big personality
Yeah.
and put it in a room to do Zoom.
Yeah.
So, we, because we were on camera through Zoom, had to be okay.
Yeah, that's right.
We had to
That's
be
right.
okay.
That's right.
And sometimes we weren't.
Well, and being on TV, we have to be okay all the time.
Yes. It's not pretty for the camera.
That, when you see me at Food Basics, I don't look so pretty sometimes. But also, that gift guide,
Yes.
it's clickable, it's online, and you learn a lot about, I learn a lot about the businesses I didn't even know existed.
Yes. And I love
Right?
this. The cover. This is just so
It's fantastic.
just so spring and summer. The gifts, the one-stop shop, and definitely the messages. I loved that. So you may not have something to sell,
Right.
but you've still got a message for community. I just thought
Exactly.
that was priceless.
I
just
love it.
priceless.
I love it.
And we all know I love Jen Anderson. All right, we'll move along.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm having a love affair, I'll tell you. So listen, we also want to share too that we do have an email address.
Yes.
And Georgina, we really do like your feedback. So remember, if you have any pictures you want to share, if you have taken some beautiful sunset shots, you have anything, you have an idea for a show, etc., please email us, georginalife@rci.rogers.com. We really do love to hear from everyone.
Yes.
Everyone.
Yes, please.
And
Yes.
thank you all. Thank you, Grant, for everything.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And listen, Georgina, we are going to see you again, hopefully, on the next edition of Georgina Life. So we really appreciate you. Thank you for being with us. Stay well, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time on Georgina Life. Bye.
Bye-bye.